Hi, everybody. Welcome to our sixth Meet the Trainer for the Wisconsin International Intensive Training that'll be starting April 26, 2026. I am so excited. I am here today with several of our team members. Our star, if you will, is going to be Jennifer Warnick, certified trainer, assessor, and organizer extraordinaire of nonviolent communication events and other things. Really excited that Jennifer's here. And then we also have Tricia Martin, who's going to be support for us at this IIT, and Michael Christie, Dr. Michael Christie, who's going to also be a core trainer alongside Jennifer and our other great trainers. We hope that we're so glad that you decided to be here. And just as a reminder, this is being recorded, your image and voice. Thank you for sharing it with us. If you decide to be on camera, your image and voice will be seen in social media as we use this video to promote international intensive trainings, this international intensive training. So thank you all. With that advisory, I'm going to hand it over to Jennifer. Jennifer, thanks for being here.
It does help if I unmute. Thanks a lot, Eric. Welcome, everyone. It's really nice to see some familiar faces and names and some new ones. I'm excited, really excited to be moving towards this IIT with you. I'd love to start just by getting an earful of your voice for just a moment. I wonder if we could just go around the circle if you're willing to just unmute and just say hello. Let me hear your voice or say your name, either one. And it's an invitation. If you really don't want to be on the recording, that's fine too. But it would help me to have a sense of connection to you just to hear your voice for a moment.
Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, Paul. Nice to hear from you. Anyone else? Can I just hear your voice? And I don't care if we
Hi,
talk
Jennifer.
over each other. Harry.
Hi, this is Harry. Yes. I'm
Linda.
switching. I'm gonna have to stay for a little while because I'm working too, and I have a conflict with another meeting. But pleased to see you and hear you guys.
We're glad to have you while we do, and we'll see you in a couple of months. So,
hi, Jennifer. I'm Joe Newmeyer.
And you like to go by Joe?
Yes.
Rather than Sally. Joe, nice to meet you, Joe. Jackie, it's good to see you again. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time. Thanks for organizing it in Wisconsin, making it convenient for me.
I wish I could take credit. Kathleen McFerrin found our venue. She and Eric worked really hard to find us a place in the Midwest so it would be accessible to more folks in the middle of the country. And I really appreciate that.
So do I.
So do you. And Joe, where are you in the country?
Nashville. Tennessee.
I look forward to welcoming you here.
It's
and Linda,
10.5-hour drive, but I'll make it.
Well, we'll be on the other end ready to welcome you.
Okay.
Linda, it's good to see you again as well.
It's good to see you. I'm so glad that you're running this and you're going to be a part of it.
Thank you. I'm curious, Harry, where are you?
I'm in California.
Okay. And
Oceanside, California.
Oceanside. Okay.
That's close to San Diego, yes.
Okay, thank you. That was my next question, because to me, California is a very large state. And so I mark it by the large cities for myself. I haven't spent as much time there as I'd like, but I'm going to be there at the end of the summer.
Oh, nice.
Paul, where are you?
I'm in Minnesota.
So I can hear the accent.
Can't shake it.
You can't shake it. No.
Minnesota.
Well, I'm in Wisconsin. Right now, I am talking to you from Madison, Wisconsin, which is where I live. And so we will be meeting about an hour and a half to 2 hours north of me in a really beautiful location. I viewed this venue a couple of times, and yeah, it's gorgeous, and it's on a very beautiful lake. So I'm looking forward to that, the piece of getting out of the city for a bit and being in a really specific place, isolated from the world for a little bit with you, so that we can experience an immersive NVC community. To me, that's part of the real sweet spot of IITs, is a chance to learn together, a chance to not just practice together, but to really lean into what it's like to live day in and day out with the same people. When we start to bump up against each other, and we have a chance not to just practice, but to live these principles that we're learning with support. And my hope is that more of us will be able to integrate what we're learning so it's not so hard to reach for when we go home. So we come away with a more sustainable practice of nonviolent communication in the world. So what I want to share with you today is something that Marshall talked about. It's one of my favorite things about the way into NVC. He talked about wanting to cultivate peace in 3 levels. And the first one is within ourselves, which you're probably familiar with. Our practice of self-empathy really supports that. But it's being able to live compassion with ourselves, to be able to recognize when we fall short of our ideals, when we stumble, and being able to hold ourselves with care and compassion still. That the practices of nonviolent communication support us in continually renewing that care for ourselves so that we're resourced to be in this world, to interact with the second level of peace, which is nurturing those relationships between us and other people. Because we cannot tend to relationships, a quality of relationship that nurtures natural giving, free flow of natural giving that serves life, if we're not resourced from within first. And the more we try to do that without that inner resources, the less resource we have going forward to tend to that third level of peace that Marshall talked about. And this part is about the peace within our social structures, the structures we inhabit in our world. If we tend to these 3 levels of peace, they support one another. So I'm curious if you can identify structures that you live within in your world, maybe just type them into the chat. I'm thinking of things like government structures. We all live within government structures. We inhabit cultures that have them. What other structures in our life, social structures, exist?
Friendship circles.
Friendship circles. Yeah, there are structures in those. Any others?
NVC.
NVC, so NVC community. And Paul
Yeah.
says work structures. Yeah. Does anybody work in schools or religious organizations? Wisconsin prison system, Jackie says.
Yes.
There's a few others, I bet. DOC, educational systems, NVC practice groups. Yeah, community systems. There are so many different structures, system structures that we live within and engage with every day. And part of the reason that Marshall talked about being aware of the peace within these systems is we can start to recognize where the systems are serving that quality of connection that we talked about in the second level. Now, government agencies, thank you, Jackie. And where those structural systems might not be serving life, so that we can recognize those and begin to transform them. So this NVC is not just a practice to help us feel good about ourselves. And it's not just a practice to help us find peace in our families and our workplaces so that we can sleep well at night. But it's also to help us cultivate communities, cultivate workplaces, cultivate our systems in ways that serve the quality of life that we're all seeking. That really particular quality of connection that holds care, mutual care for all. I want to invite you to a little thought experiment here. So my colleague, Kathleen McFerrin, who some of you know, and the rest of you will meet at this IIT, shared with me long time ago. This is what we call the spectrum of human experience. So imagine all of our experience as human beings on this earth is on the spectrum. And on this side is that first level of peace that we talked about, that level of peace within. That sense of self-compassion where we learn from our mistakes, where we recognize where we have self-judgments that might not be serving life. And we can understand why those are there and what needs are alive for us and tend to those parts of us that are in pain. And then the other end of this spectrum, the extreme end of the spectrum, is war and genocide. Those pieces of life that we recognize as violence outward. And in between us is this huge spectrum of our experience. It's very wide. I think of it this way because if I can recognize where I am on the spectrum, I have a chance to reorient when I want to. So I'll give you an example. Say I just spent the afternoon with a really good friend. Eric and I spent the afternoon chatting, drinking lots of coffee, probably eating some chocolate brownies in a cafe someplace, very relaxed without thinking about work or obligations. We had the whole afternoon off. I left this meeting just feeling so calm and so grounded and really expansive and joyful with quite a bit of warmth. And I get in my car later than I intended. And now I'm going to drive across the city to get home in time to have dinner with my family. I might even have to stop on the way home to grab something because I wasn't really prepared. So I get in the car, I'm on the highway. And of course, as soon as I merge into traffic, somebody cuts me off. I'm startled, my heart's racing a little bit. I draw back on my speed a little. I notice that I'm a little agitated, a little nervous, aware of the traffic and the trucks going by. So I'm breathing, trying to connect with what I'm feeling and pay attention to the traffic. And another person cuts me off at the same time that a truck swerves a little bit into my lane. And I turn to look at the second person who cut me off, who's just switched past me. And as he went by me, he gave me the gift of his middle finger. So now I'm not only agitated, my heart is racing, but this guy just said something to me with a gesture that I wouldn't want a stranger to say to me with their words. And I'm noticing that the tension within me is growing, but I'm also noticing I'm reacting to the traffic patterns. And now traffic is stop and go, and people are beeping and getting in front of each other. And I need to get over to get to my exit, and it's taking a long time to get there. The stress in me is growing. I'm no longer even aware of it, but my heart is beating more and I'm sweating a bit. And I get off and I try to make it to the store, and I swing by the store. There's not a parking place. I decide to head home. We're going to take something out of the freezer really fast. And I get home and everybody's irritated and asking me for something. And by this time, when I walk in the door, I've got all the weight of what's just happened. And I snap at the first person who meets me at the door and says, "What's for dinner? I'm late." I have just gone from this sweet, connected, grounded experience with Eric. And on that spectrum, so I'm going from this end of the spectrum to this end of the spectrum, I've just snapped at the people I love most in the world, who have no idea the context of my day, but they know I've spent the afternoon with Eric. So now what's wrong? And I notice in that moment when I see my kid's face that what I just did had impact. And if I'm still connected enough to what happened, I can notice what's going on for me. With the practices of nonviolent communication, we'll play a little bit with some of that mindfulness in a minute. But what it helps me do when I think of it on this spectrum is it helps me recognize where I am on the spectrum in this moment. And just to give you a sense, I'm not standing in front of you, but if I was, my whole body would be moving. I'm oriented a little bit in this direction. Not a ton. There's not active violence here, but what's inside of me, there's a tension that I identify as a form of violence because it's just actually come out of me to my family. Knowing that, I can take a moment to self-connect. What's going on for me? What am I feeling in this moment? And we'll talk about a brief practice of mindfulness to get us in there quickly. But when I am connected to myself, I can make a choice in that moment. And the choice is to orient myself in the other direction a bit. Sometimes I am so agitated in those moments, so triggered, I'm not going to make a full orientation to the other side of the spectrum right away. It's going to take me some work, but I can take a breath, some quick self-empathy inside, or step aside and ask for some from someone in the family, enough to orient so that I can recognize the impact I've just had, say something, and start to move forward in our evening together so I start to repair the break that just happened. And even if no one else is fussed by that break, it's in me. And as long as I don't tend to that, to the tension that's arisen in me, that's grown throughout my travels home, it's going to come out again later. So this is a way for me to tend to it, because what you just witnessed happening as I drove home is everything stacked up. One little insult on top of another on top of another. And before I knew it, I walked in the door with a whole stack of pain. And I was going to try and act from that pain, interact with the people that meant the most to me in the world. So imagine when that happens and we have a day like that and a week like that or a month like that, when we're under this unusual stressors that happen in our lives that stack up, not just with family, but with our workplace and then with the news. All of those things bring us up to a heightened state of tension. And if we try to act from that place, we're almost guaranteed not only not to get our needs met, but we're almost guaranteed to stimulate more pain for others and also for ourselves. So what this practice is helping us to do is learn how to tend to ourselves in a way that not only has compassion and that we can learn from, but has self-responsibility because we're aware of how our caring for ourselves is also caring for other people, because it allows us to show up with an open heart. It allows us to show up resourced so we can hear other people. We can hear what matters to them when they're in the most pain. And I'll tell you, sometimes, not that it happens all the time, but sometimes when I come home in that state, I'm lucky enough that the person who meets me at the door is better resourced than I am and able to meet me with some quick empathy that diffuses that tension bubble that I walked in the door with. And we can do that for other people all the time. Now, looking at this crowd, I am pretty sure that this is not new to any of you. That what I'm telling you isn't new information, it's more of a reminder of what's possible. And this IIT is an invitation to join us in a place where it is possible to not just learn some of these, but to cultivate new habits, habits of self-care and habits of nurturing relationships between us and other people, so that together we have a better chance of changing those systems that aren't working for us, the ones that we inhabit in our culture that aren't as life-serving as they could be. And in some places, the transformation could be pretty big. I don't believe that will happen without more of us having an experience of how to take this journey through all levels of engagement with peace. I'm going to pause for a minute. I'm really curious to hear if this way that I've laid this out, which I want to be very transparent about, the spectrum was Kathleen's, but the rest of this is directly from Marshall. I'm curious, is how it lands for you, like how it lives in your life, what it's stirring in you right now. Jackie, medical systems. She says, aren't we all powerless within all of these systems? That's where I sit now in my life. I feel very small in relation to my own influence. So as I narrow the focus, I feel more influence, but then it feels like it doesn't matter because it is so small. Isn't this a reality? Would it be relevant to respond to this concern today? It would meet my need for mattering in the world and shared reality about what is possible or not possible. Showing up resourced might be what I need. Yeah. So Jackie, yes. I'm going to hear for a couple other people, and then I want to speak directly to this. Does that work for you? Great. Anyone else? There's something that stirred in you as I shared this. What I'll do is I'll address this piece about that sense of feeling it's small and doesn't matter. As we are, when you speak about a medical system, we talk about a big system where we don't have a lot of power, right? Especially right now with the healthcare, the way healthcare is rolled out, the way insurance companies are, the power that they have. It's very possible to feel very small, to have a sense that you long for more agency than you have in relation to your health and in interactions of, with the healthcare community and being able to access care. Am I getting that right, Jackie? Is that what you're talking about?
I've worked in the healthcare system for the last 3 years. So it feels like I should have agency or impact as part of the system, aside from, of course, being a patient myself. So, it's just there is no person who is in charge. The authority is so diffuse, the bureaucracy is so large. The people who work there are human beings that I can interact with, but they feel like they're kind of automatons within the system themselves. So you're not really addressing the system when you address the human beings. So that's kind of it.
Yeah, so I'm glad you brought this up. This really shows that disparity between the system and those people who are within the system, because those of us who are interacting with that particular system sometimes can feel so completely separate from it, because there are people working within the system who also have less choice and less agency in changing the system. So when we're engaging with them, it's a one-on-one, right? It's a relationship between us and this other person, but this other person doesn't have access to a lot of the change that we would like to see. And this is where systems change comes in. So I'm not in any way discounting how important that individual interaction with the other person is, whether it's a colleague within the medical system that we're working with, or whether we're a patient engaging with that system. Our ability to be self-connected, to have that practice so we know how we're doing in this moment, so that we're resourced to interact with the person who is before us, who is actually our conduit to either accessing healthcare in that moment with limits, or our colleague who's right in the midst of it with us as we're recognizing the constraints that we have to actually impact change from within. So we nurture those relationships right away. And then on another level, because we have relationships with other people, together, we work to impact. Thanks, Harry, for the heads up. I'm glad to see you. We will see you in April. So together we work to change those systems. And sometimes, especially in this system, Jackie, it seems huge. Our healthcare system, there's on the federal level, the impact that has. There's the level of the politics within each of the medical systems, and it's different within all of them. And where the power lies is different. So there's how do we navigate those systems right now in ways that are life-serving for us and those people we're serving? And then on another level, what do we do collectively as we resource ourselves and stay connected to actually impact a change on the social structural level? It can seem like a really huge lift. It almost always does to me. But it seems like less of a huge lift when I do it with other people. I don't believe it's possible for any one of us to change those large systems by ourselves. But I also don't think it's possible to do it without connection to other people and without resourcing ourselves. And I do consider that connection with other people to be part of our resources. How is that to hear, Jackie? I don't expect it to assuage any pain or grief around it. But I am hopeful.
I think the shared reality piece is really important, because whether you're talking about medical systems or politics or anything, we are having difficulty now having shared reality. And that sort of underlies a lot of the disconnect and feeling of helplessness and powerlessness. So I actually did have a brainstorm while you were talking about something I can do. And it feels powerful to me.
Mm.
Would you share that, Jackie?
Oh my gosh.
What you thought of?
I'm so curious if you're willing to. I'd love to hear it.
My boss, oh my God, my boss right now, I'm doing front office work for a private practice that for a physician who got kicked out of the system, Ascension in Milwaukee, because they no longer wanted to fund his program. The bureaucracy didn't think you know, this program was important. So he's in private practice and he's developing his own system apart from the big Ascension system. And I'm sort of a part of that. And it's exciting in a way because he has opportunity to develop it in his under his own values and within his own values. And I just got an email from him and I can to some of us, not just me, but I can piggyback on his email and say, these are some things I see you doing that are really important to me. And one of them is making sure he responds to phone calls that come into him. That's part of my job, a couple of other things. But just naming that shared reality of value
Mm.
and without even saying, we are now trying to be an alternative to the big system. I think I don't need to put it in that's a little bit like fighting terms, but I
Mhm.
think naming the thing that I see that's a value that I value would
Yeah.
would be powerful.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing here is that sometimes naming, I'm doing something different to challenge the system isn't always the most impactful thing because it sounds like we're putting up a fight here. But in this instance, naming what you're seeing that's different and how it's meeting needs, where it's having impact in itself can be powerful enough that people recognize the change that's happening there.
So
Am I
what
hearing
I
that right?
hear, go ahead.
Yeah, Joe, go right ahead.
So what I hear is she is defining her values. She and the doctor are defining their values as part of their new process.
How does that resonate, Jackie?
Joe, I would add to that. I certainly, yeah, that resonates with what I was saying, but also defining the impact, the underlying intention
Mm.
of the action and how
Right.
how that, yeah. So like there's something about it being very operational in
Right.
terms of this is what we're doing. It seems like a simple thing, but it's really important or powerful or however,
Well, in
So,
a business sense, it's measuring how well you're doing with
yeah.
what you're intending.
So what
That's
I'm
an in,
thinking here,
yeah.
what I'm thinking here as I hear this is that often we do something and it isn't recognized or we don't know how it's seen.
Mm-hmm.
Other times it's powerful to be able to name what it is that we're doing, even not even having to name that it's different, but doing something different, being able to name it and really clearly see and name the impact to help
Yeah.
others see what that is. And this is one of the tools that NVC provides us with is that clarity, those distinctions between what we're seeing, not what we're thinking, but what we're seeing. What are the things that are being said or done in this particular situation? What needs are being met there?
Mm-hmm.
And as people see that, they experience it differently often because sometimes people just feel better and don't notice it. We live in a culture here that doesn't always nurture an awareness of feelings, right? In fact, I was going to take you through just a brief meditation if you're up for it. It's not even a meditation. It's a self-awareness practice that I find really helpful. Are you guys up for that? All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to close my chat here just so I'm not distracted. So it's an invitation, no demand to participate. But if you're willing, I invite you to close your eyes or lower your gaze or focus it on something in your environment, just that you're not distracted by the rest of us on the screen. And then what I'd like to invite you to do is just as you breathe, notice what's supporting you, where your body is touching your chair or your cushion. Is it your bottom, your back? Notice where your feet are resting on the floor, if they're resting on the floor. And allow yourself to breathe. Don't hold your breath. And just notice where there's movement. As you breathe in and out, don't change anything, just notice. Noticing an expansion in your belly or in your back. Are you aware of the sensation of the air entering your nose or your mouth and exiting? And again, as you're aware of it, don't try to change it, and don't try not to change it. Just let it be. Let yourself be breathed by the world. And then expand your awareness to the rest of your body. What physical sensations are you aware of right now? Is there somewhere you feel a sense of tension? Maybe in your shoulders or your jaw? Maybe just your tongue? Or is there a sense of warmth or coolness in any particular part of your body? Again, don't try to change what's there. Just notice that this is what you're feeling. Is there a sense of expansion someplace? Or is there a sense of contraction anywhere? And as you become aware of these feelings, you bring them to the forefront of your mind. Just ask yourself, is this a physical sensation you're familiar with? Something that you've felt before that you're aware of? Or is this something that's new in your awareness? Is there emotion accompanying this physical sensation? Is it an emotion that you're familiar with being connected to this physical sensation? Do they live in you together often? Or is this a new awareness for you? And see if you can recognize a need or needs that these physical sensations and these emotions, your feelings, are pointing to. Is there a need you recognize? It could be satisfied, it might not be satisfied, but what need is there that the feelings are there to alert you to? And again, in this moment, not doing something about it, just letting yourself be aware that that's present for you. I invite you to take a couple more slow breaths. And then bring yourself back into the room with us. Bring back your attention. Well, that was a really brief, somewhat rushed chance to put your attention on what you're feeling right now. Some people find it much easier to go in with physical sensations. For other people, they notice their emotions more swiftly. But I find one piece that is so valuable here is to cultivate an awareness between the relationship between those two. Because I believe the sooner we notice any kind of tension within us, and I also think of joy as a tension as well. So again, it's around needs that are met and not met. Those feelings that arise there, if a physical sensation starts to arise first, and I can be aware of my needs earlier because I start to recognize those physical sensations that alert me to the emotions, then I can respond more quickly to what's going on in me. I can be aware of what I need and make choices to better meet my needs, which again, better resources me to be in relationship with other people in this world. Because I'm in relation to myself. I'm connected to myself. So I'm going to pause there. We are at 12:40, so we just have about 5 more minutes before I'm going to turn this back over to Eric. I'd love to hear a little bit about what that experience was for you. Is it easy to connect with your feelings? Do you find your physical sensations are something you pay attention to and notice early? Or are you one of those people who recognizes the emotional part first? Because we're all different, right? And our patterns are all different. And I want to name that what you experience physically and I experience physically is going to point to different directions. And within us, I might feel something physically. And one time it might point to a need, emotions around a need being satisfied. And other times it might point to a time when my needs are not met. And it might be the same physical sensation. But the more familiar I am with it and with my patterns, the better I am able to respond to that. So what is your pattern? What do you recognize in yourself? And maybe if anyone's willing that we haven't heard from yet, I'd love to hear from you first, if you're willing. Does anyone here pay attention to their physical sensations as well as their feelings? And I see some nods. Great. Does anyone have more inclination to notice the physical before the emotional? Yeah, a little bit. Oh, okay. How about the other way? Does anyone else notice the emotional before the physical? Is there anyone here who would just really rather not talk about feelings at all? And let's just get to the meat of it. Let's go straight to the needs. That's what matters, right? Does anyone have a practice that supports them in connecting regularly? Paul says, definitely notice the emotions first. Thanks, Paul.
I think my challenge is when I notice that physical emotion and I'm like, sometimes I just want to let go. I just want to, usually it's anger, but just want to let go. I just want to just yell. And I'm better at it now, but man, then sometimes I feel regret because I didn't yell. That's what...
So is that, you're wanting that like sense of wanting release and then you didn't, and then you sit there regretting that there wasn't some sort of release for you for that emotion?
I go, I think, into a thought loop that I gave up my power or something, or I wasn't heard, or my feelings don't matter. those are the thought loops I go into. If I don't, so it takes some empathy. Something has to happen for me. I mean, not always, but I'm just noticing as I'm thinking through what you're saying. I think that's what happens.
You know, Eric, I love that you say you have to have it. It's like there's a trainer, I haven't seen him in many years, Jorge Rubio. Years ago, I heard him say that empathy is like oxygen. We cannot survive without it. It's not even just about thriving. We don't survive without empathy, even if we're not consciously aware of it. And in those moments, as Eric said, you needed empathy, right? In moments when we're not even aware of it, we need empathy. Infants who don't know what they need, but they know they need relief, can't survive without some human connection and presence, the presence that empathy provides. Yeah, and I know that it's a tired analogy, but that piece about oxygen in an airplane, putting on your own oxygen before you help someone else, to me, NVC is that practice daily. Whatever practices I cultivate to maintain not just my sense of self-connection and grounding in what I want and need, but also allowing it to be much more readily available to me when I need it. So I don't have to reach for it. I don't regret later, wow, that was something I could have done. Instead, I become more aware that it's an option. And then I become aware in the moment I can reach for this tool. And then I can get to the place where suddenly I reached for it without thinking and realize, wow, what was that? You know, when I first started learning NVC, my husband was quite reluctant. And I'm telling you a story about him that I have permission to tell. He's a soccer ref. Eric, you may be familiar with that. And he remembers being at a game and a coach who was also a father of one of the youth on the field was yelling at him nonstop. And after resisting NVC for many years, but being alongside me and just having it seep in his direction, he found himself respond to the guy and say, wow, are you just really wanting this game to be fair and for the kids to have a fair shake? And the guy shifted right away. And Mark had this moment where he just was stunned to hear what came out of his mouth without thinking about it. He came home and he said, NVC came out of me. Because it does. We learn it, we reach for the practice, we work hard at it until we recognize it when it wasn't there. We mourn that we didn't reach for it. Then we recognize we didn't and think, oh, we could do it next time. Then we see it's an option, we reach for it. And then one day, it's such a part of us that reaching for the needs, listening underneath what's going on, whether it's for the other person or for ourselves, like in Eric's example, when he realized that I could reach inside for myself and know what's going on. When that comes freely, there is no doing NVC or not doing NVC. There's no getting it right or not getting it right. It's how we live moment to moment with ourselves when we recognize what's going on right now for me. And what are my choices? And what are my choices to help orient towards that side of the spectrum? And if I'm unable to do this shift myself, who can I ask for support from? Who am I connected to in that second level of peace, my relationships, those people I have connection to who might support me? Yeah. All right. It's 12:47. I've gone over my time. Thanks, Paul. I love seeing that. Paul says, fully agree. Empathizing with myself makes it much easier to remember to give empathy to others. And also sometimes practicing giving empathy to someone else makes it easier to remember to give empathy to myself. Okay, I was going to turn it over to Eric. I'm not. I want to say one more thing. Thank you, Paul, for saying that. It excites me so much, this experience of when I'm struggling somewhat, and I choose, if I'm resourced enough, choose to be present to another person, to step into that empathic space with them. It's not about me giving and them receiving, because when we leave that empathic space, I feel different. I'm changed by the experience as well. And I leave that experience often better resourced to be present to myself and others as I walk away. I've heard people talk about it as part of the magic of empathy, the magic of NVC. And I love the way, I know Robert Gonzalez talked about it, Marshall talked about it this way, that empathic space is a place we inhabit together. And if I can choose, if I can take that step into it with someone else and offer them my full presence without trying to change them, just being supportive, wanting to understand and have them be received fully by someone, I'm also doing that for myself. So thanks for saying that, Paul. Let me get that out. All right, Eric, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thanks, Jennifer. Yeah. Oh, and Tija has just joined us. Welcome, Tija. Excited you're here.
Hi, Tita. Welcome.
Pizza.
Thank you. Hi.
Welcome. I just want to thank you, Jennifer. I think you just demonstrated one of the things I love, which is the aliveness. The schedule for me, for some people, they really sticklers for schedule. For me, I love it if there's some aliveness. So Paul throws something in there and Jennifer takes the time. So that's perfect. I love that. And I hope that we'll have a lot of that at the IIT, except we can't miss mealtime. But other than that, I hope we'll have a lot of that flow during the IIT. So this is the portion where we kind of transition to logistics, but Jennifer, I hope you'll stay on to answer some questions where they might be. So any questions? A number of you have been here before, and Michael, thanks for turning on your camera. Any questions you have about the logistics or anything really? Any questions about the event itself? Jackie, go ahead.
I have a question. I decided to commute with my sister, so it would be really helpful to know what time it starts in the morning and then when the formal things end, and then I know there probably will be evening offerings and stuff like that, but what is the plan time-wise, like a schedule in general?
Yeah. Could you, Jennifer, would you mind describing the flow of the day? And then I'm going to look at the times that I think, the meal times. I'm going to specifically get the meal times.
I particularly appreciate you've asked me to do this, Eric, because you named already how important meals are for you. So I'll let you tend to that. So the day does typically begin with breakfast. Occasionally, somebody might make an offering in the morning. Somebody might offer yoga or meditation in the morning. And those typically will happen in the hour before breakfast. Then breakfast is followed by our morning circle, which is all of the community, all the trainers, all the assistants, and the whole community participants together. And our plan is to do some teaching in that circle, some experiential work. And then we go into the sessions for the day. Lunch in the middle of the day, Eric will let us know when that is, so none of us miss it. And I will name that at meals, sometimes things happen. So there might be a discussion about certain things at some tables, say people are interested in certification. There might be a discussion about that at lunch. They might be interested in exploring another topic more in depth. People might be interested in grouping around particular areas of interest like education or government work or healthcare. Those discussions might happen at lunch or at dinner. After lunch, there's typically free time, and I have to look at the schedule. I can't remember what we did with it, but during the afternoon, there are also home groups where you'll connect with a small group of people that are basically your family while you're at the IIT, so you have a place to ground. You might get empathy together, you might discuss more in-depth things that are meaningful that you've experienced during the day. More sessions, dinner. And then after dinner, as Jackie said, there are often things in the evening. So in the evening, the assistants or other candidates for certification who are at the IIT might give presentations. And then there will be an evening where we do giraffes around the world, usually, which is where we folks present different ways NVC is being shared and living around the world and in their communities, projects that we're involved in. And it's not just the trainers. There are many people at the IIT who are doing things around the world that it's exciting to learn about, because then we have a sense of companionship and hope learning about what's growing. And there probably will be some kind of performance or something. Often it's called the no talent show, meaning not that there's no talent, but there's no need for talent to participate. And that's usually a very fun evening. There is a quiet time, and I think it's typically around 10ish, 9:30, 10ish, depending on how housing is arranged, and goes to like something like 7 in the morning. So I don't expect we'll have raging parties in the evening so we can all rest and resource ourselves. But it could be late nights, Jackie, if you're wanting to participate in some of those evening things. But you'll see what those are each day on the board if someone's offering something in the evening, so the two of you can plan. You'll get that schedule in the morning circle. So you'll be able to look ahead at your day, and the two of you can decide it's not something we want to hang around for, or are we going to hit the road? Do you have some meal times for us, Eric?
Yeah, so breakfast is at 7:30 to 8:30, lunch is 12 to 1, and dinner is 5. So 7:30, 12, and 5. If you're a commuter, we've only included lunch and dinner on the assumption that you'll arrive. So opening circle will be at the, I don't think we've decided, Jennifer. Opening circle could be at the unnatural hour of 8:30 a.m. But who knows? Yeah. So lunch and dinner 12 and 5, and probably the closing circle will be before dinner is my guess, Jennifer. But yeah.
Yeah, you mean that afternoons, that late evening, the early evening circle, the harvest circle? Yeah. Okay,
Harvest
great.
circle,
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't track the nomenclature used, but yeah.
Yeah.
You just said that there will be a closing circle before dinner. Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, it's typically like a harvest circle, mornings
Yeah.
and celebrations from the day. I think you've experienced those, Jackie.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I have the
Yeah.
time parameters for these.
Okay, and that will
And-
flow right into dinner.
Okay,
Right.
thanks.
And Jackie, what you can do if you want is contact me directly, and we'll see if we can I want to find a way, if there's a way we can get you on site. So just why don't we talk offline and see if there's a way we can get you on site and it makes sense for you, because you and your sister could room together potentially. And I want to find a way to support you both to be on site if you want to be on site.
Okay.
Yeah.
Paul has a question in the chat. I don't know if you guys
Oh.
responded to.
Oh, thanks for monitoring, Michael. I was not monitoring that. I was.
Thank you.
Let's see. Wondering how we get access. Oh, I apologize. I still haven't launched the Heart collaboration sheet and carpool sheet. This is my last week of work in tech. So today there's a retirement party for tech for me in an hour and a half. And I've just been cleaning out my office and throwing action on. So I apologize, Paul. I said I would do it. I haven't done it yet. I'll try to get that posted in the next week.
Oh, no problem. Thanks, and congratulations.
Yes.
Thanks. So I can hang out with people like Michael and Jennifer and Trisha, and maybe you guys, maybe you all too. Joe, go ahead.
So I get the sense that there will be some alone time to process in the evenings.
Mhm.
And also, I contacted the motel and they want to know, because I have to stay overnight on May 5th, they want to know what room I'll be assigned so that they can keep me in that room so I don't have to move. And I understand we're in the Roger Williams Inn. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the main conference center hotel building. Yes, that's correct. Except yeah, so for 99% of us will be in that building. Yes. And I haven't gotten to the room assignment stage yet. And so it'll be a little bit and I'm sorry, I can't commit to a timeline now. I'll try to get to it within the next 2 weeks and see if I can assign you to a room so then you can make your room reservation and try to help you lock in a good room rate, Joe.
Right, thank you.
Thank
Because
you
I signed up for 3 people to a room.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that. Dave.
Yeah.
I was not,
So,
you know.
and I asked preferably all female.
Yes, we will do that. We'll do that.
Okay, that's all.
Yeah. Thank you for that detail, and thank you for persisting. I see you've been sending me notes and filling out the form, and so thank you for your patience. Joe.
No problem.
I think just to piggyback a little bit on Joe asking about integration time, there's also typically an integration day or afternoon, or I don't know what you all have planned, but do you have thoughts around that you want to share?
Well, I think I want to hold off on exactly when it will be until we're all together. Michael is joining the team, and I want to make sure that he's a part of that decision. But there typically is an afternoon or a day that is integration time for folks to do what most nourishes them, so that you're resourced for the rest of the IIT. And also that the piece about when home groups meet is flexible. Home groups can decide when to meet, so that they might have that time right after lunch as well for personal time and integration. But we'll have that schedule finalized. We meet on Monday, this next Monday, and I think we're probably seeing you then too as well, Eric.
Hopefully,
So
I'll be in the woods, but hopefully, yeah.
okay.
I thought of another question.
Perfect.
Time to walk. I walk about an hour every day. So that could be done in the evening.
Mm-hmm. I could imagine it could happen in the evening and in the morning or right after lunch.
Okay, yeah, great. Mm-hmm.
Jennifer, do you want to talk about have-tos and choice and schedules, or?
Yeah, let's talk about that. So you made the choice to come to this IIT. At least I think you're all registered now. Some people are still are on the intention list, but so you're at choice for that. But at the IIT as well, you're also at choice in what you participate in. Each day there will be a schedule on the wall that will tell you what sessions are happening and where they're happening. And you will get to choose what you participate in. There will be a track that's a fundamentals track for folks who don't have experience in NVC or have a limited experience. And then there'll be other offerings that are more in depth. And you'll be there for the 9 days of full training. So you'll all have that much time to be able to choose. You'll also have a chance to make requests for areas of focus. We do have topic areas of focus each day, and each of the trainers will be working within those parameters and what we offer each day. But there are 5 trainers on this retreat. You are going to have a menu that is going to have a whole bunch of things to choose from. And you can choose any of them. And if you find that you are at a point where you are really needing some time to yourself to integrate, to rest, to do something else for your self-care, and it might mean going for a walk, you might choose to do that during a session. We do encourage people to participate in as many sessions as they can, because this is a unique experience that you won't have easily again unless you register for and pay for another IIT. So drink up what you can, eat from this table as much as you can, and we want you to be connected to what your needs are. And if you're needing something that is to care for your own well-being, we encourage you to do that as well. I think I'll stop there. Is anything else that Michael or Tricia or Eric that you want to add to that?
I just have something funny to say. I think our trainers are so excited to be there, not the participants, but our trainers are so excited to be with all of you. I am not kidding. Like, the trainers are like, these people, they're so excited to learn, and they want to listen, and they want to ask questions, and they want to participate, that the trainers won't even go for a walk. And at some point on day 5, they're like, maybe I should take a nap or go for a walk. So and I'm like, okay. So I hope that you'll be in choice as much as I hope the trainers will be in choice about taking care of yourself. I mean, it's exciting for me, at least. These are exciting, intensive events, and I hope that you'll choose to take care of yourself in the way that works for you, Joe.
Yeah, my concern is not becoming overwhelmed with too many, because it is exciting. I really look forward to this.
Yeah, I want to just add a little bit to what Eric just said, and that's that, we will be also tending to our own needs. We're not just there regurgitating all these lovely little gifts that we think we want to share with you about NVC, but we really want to live this. We're not modeling NVC for you, we're embodying it. And it's important to us that we care for ourselves, and you through that are maybe reminded to care for yourself. And it's great that there are 5 of us, because that means that we can. There's not any one person carrying the whole IIT. We're in partnership together.
How many people are signed up?
Currently have 28 signed up.
Wow.
My hope is that we'll get to 58 by the time. We still have rooms. I'm going to bet a commission that we're going to get at least 30 more. Literally bet my commission. So get all your enemies to sign up, all the people that you think really need NVC to change so that your life gets better. That's a joke. But but please please advertise to your friends. And by advertise, a positive word is give them the information that supports them in making a decision which is life-serving for them and supports them in their learning and growth. So my hope is that we'll have 58 on site there. Thanks for asking, Joe. And this will be the smallest IIT I've done in a while. So and I'm pretty excited because we've cheated with this team. We have a fantastic training team. Super. And to my evaluation, super great. Thanks for asking, Joe.
You guys come recommended.
That's nice to hear. Michael, was there anything that you wanted to add? I'd love to make space for your voice here.
No, well, hello everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Looking forward to spending the time with you in Wisconsin. I don't think I've spent much time in Wisconsin, so it will be I'll be creating new memories, and it'll be groundbreaking for me in so many ways. So no, I'm just really excited about being a part of the team and the group, and looking forward to the training. And that's it. And Jennifer, really appreciated how you navigated the space this afternoon. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
And to let everyone know, I was on. My camera was off because I was actually in the car traveling, and so I didn't want to make anyone nervous or get dizzy by the movement. So that's why I was on camera. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. All right. We'll just give it a minute to marinate and see if any other questions arise.
No, Eric, something did come up from me. I just wanted to let Titsa know that this is recorded so that you'll be able to watch a recording of the session. Great.
Yeah, and the link to the recording should be in the bottom of every email that I send out. So hopefully, again, if you're promoting this to your friends and others, that you can just say, hey, watch these videos. My feeling is that if you get to meet a Michael and a Jennifer and a Tricia, you'll be like, oh, this could be good.
Well, Jennifer and Tricia for sure.
I've sat with you and we've eaten blueberries together, Michael. I think you're reasonably compelling as a person. So
Thank you. You're kind.
We love the humility, Michael.
all right. Thank you all for attending. Thank you. I think almost everybody here, as Jennifer said, almost everybody here is signed up or near to signing up. I am working hard. We are working hard to make sure. I know that our team is doing outreach. Jennifer and Kathleen and Trisha and Michael and everyone, they're doing outreach. So the good thing is we do have some resources for financial assistance now, a little bit more because we had a bunch of signups yesterday. So if there's someone you know that could use support to come, we'll do everything we can to find a way and make offers. I think we've been able to make offers to everybody so far. That's unless they haven't responded to us. So yeah, I mean, I hope that we can do that. So just so you know, there is financial assistance, some now. So thank you, Jennifer, for being our Meet the Trainer star today. Got to be careful about those labels. Star today, and Michael and Trisha, thanks for attending, and Joe and Jackie and Tisa, I hope I got that pronounced right. Linda, Paul, and again, yeah, Michael and Trisha, thanks for being. If you all could just unmute for a moment, make some noise for Jennifer and the group, and we'll see you in 1 week with Nika.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Thanks
Bye.
for coming. This has been
Pleasure.
fun. I'll see you in April.
All
Yeah,
right.
make sure it's good weather, Jennifer. I'm counting on you for the weather.
I'll work on that, but I will warn you, I am slightly envious of those on the East Coast right now. I want
Oh
your
my
snow,
goodness.
Michael.
Oh my goodness.
I'll bring some with me.
Thank you.
Got plenty to spare.
You do.
Thank you all. Bye bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.